Happy Monday, January 9th. This is take 2 of the Plant-Based Morning Show. I tried to give it a go a second ago, as a few people may have seen, and Facebook is blocking us because something is ready to expire or some kind of thing with the restream. So we're not on Facebook today. Get over to YouTube if you're a Facebook person normally, but I guess you wouldn't hear this, so that doesn't really make any sense as advice. But sorry for the late start. All right, adding Doug in now. Let's see. I see Mr. Jeffrey, Jody, Steven, Anne-Marie, Aisha. All the regulars are here. I'm hitting some weird buttons. And there's Doug.
Matt.
He's shocked. He can't believe it.
I'm shocked. I can't believe it. I got a sneak peek during your initial the tech issue rollout here, and I thought there was a blonde filter on or something for you.
Yeah, right. Wow. If only I knew how to use filters, Doug, I could have probably orchestrated that, but I don't.
So talk to me about your haircut.
Oh, I got a haircut. I wanted to get a shortcut, and I did. And then my beard and my hair were like one big cohesive blob. So I said I need to find some way to separate these things, and I didn't want to do the skin like short fade thing. So yeah. I just colored it. And this is actually the second coloring. The first one made it like really red, and this next one made it slightly less red. But that seems to happen whenever I dye my hair. It goes red first.
Well, I like it, man. I like it. You look good. You look fresh.
Well, thanks. That's what I'm trying to do. And you know, the other benefit here is that podcast listeners will have to jump into the live if they want to actually see it. So I thought I might attract some more attention. Hey, quick shout out to Tori Washington, who is here, vegan bodybuilder superstar, and big inspiration of mine, and a friend of Robert Cheeks as well. So hello, Tori. Dale, Jeffrey Hudnall is here as well. A lot of people. So sorry. And also, my hand keeps going in front of the camera. I've not found a good camera position. But what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
New Slim Shady. People are saying Eminem look. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I can see that. With your hoodie on and everything. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
So how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. It was, family split up because of different soccer in different locations. So Holden and I were on our own. Watched a lot of Office. The highlight really for me was that I stayed up really late, which I tend to do. We've talked about this before, I think, on No Meat Athlete Radio, that when our wives go away, we just tend to stay up late, watching TV, whatever. Yep. I don't know. Just it's like it's like the good influence goes away of going to bed early. But I've been working on this go to sleep later thing, and I think it's really helping. So I had some good sleeps a couple times in a row, and I've got more evidence to think that that I might be onto something here from none other than Dr. Greger, who is a superstar.
Okay.
So I'll get into that in a bit, but I want to hear about your weekend, Doug. What'd you do? Did you cook the mushrooms that you were promising to cook?
I did not cook. I did not grill the mushrooms. I did not make it to the grocery store. I did have mushrooms. I did have mushrooms twice.
Hey, good for you.
But I did not grill the mushrooms. They are on the list for this week was when we get to the grocery store. But I had a great weekend. Celebrated Bean Day in fine form with a bean curry on Friday night.
Good.
And went out for pizza one night. Whoa, big claps of things in my room. All good. Just had a really kind of a relaxing weekend.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Did you end up celebrating Bean Day?
I ate the baked beans that I had already made, and I still have them. I've had them all weekend long. So in a way, I did. I did also I went to the Super G Mart where I get it's the Asian and lots of other, international types of cuisine. And I got some huge king oyster mushrooms and some like baby king oyster mushrooms that are still pretty big mushrooms. I think they are maybe another name. I'm not positive for trumpet mushrooms or king trumpet mushrooms, which is what I was trying to get. And they didn't have that exact thing. But they sure look like the baby king oysters. That it was an Isa Does It recipe for like tofu saute with trumpet mushrooms, and so I had that last night. But I also got some big king oysters, which I'm going to do the veg news thing of cutting up and putting on skewers and grilling that we've talked about. Yeah. So I was successful.
You're gonna do it. Great.
Yeah, and I think I'm starting to buy into this mushroom trend. I think it might be happening.
We have a mushroom convert here. I like it.
Maybe. I do know some people, including my son, who have always been not mushroom eaters, but recently they're starting to come around. and maybe there's just kind of a zeitgeist situation. People are just
mushrooms in the air.
right, collective consciousness. People are kind of just all
Mhm.
together getting into it. I don't know.
Yep.
It's possible.
I think it's happening. I think what's happening.
Yeah.
We got
All right,
some.
well,
we got some exciting news here. We got some winners.
Yeah, why don't you hit those really quick, and then I'll get into the rest of the sleep thing I want to cover really quick before we move on to the weather report. We got a packed show today, by the way.
We do have a packed show. So we had 62 people enter our protein giveaway, which we announced last Thursday. You had all weekend to enter to win one of 2 bags of Complement protein. Complement is of course our title sponsor of the show, and also our company.
Producer of the show, really.
The producer of the show. Yeah, there you go. What is going on in my house? A big pile of toys just oh man. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Are the toys animating in your room?
We moved a bunch of toys out. All right. I gotta pause for a second. Hold on.
All right. I'm gonna move on and talk here about my sleep issue, which is still a huge issue. But John, who's a regular listener, I think he's a podcast guy. He reached out. Doug's making a tremendous amount of noise while he deals with those toys. I apologize for that. Anyway, John reached out to Doug and said that he really appreciates the sleep content, which we thought was a little bit self-indulgent, perhaps, getting into my sleep issues, going into depth. But he has the exact same problem as I do. Wakes up in the night and then just can't fall back asleep. Maybe not even stressed, just can't.
Okay.
And so he said what he found, but he stopped only because inflation drove up the price of said remedy. But he got this from Dr. Greger, that romaine lettuce contains a compound. I don't have the name of it right in front of me, but it's shown in lots of lactucin, hypnotic component of lettuce, and it's very high in the romaine varieties. It's been shown in different animals, and I think even in people now, in the form of extract at least, to help with sleep. So, it could just seem like yet another thing to try, and it probably is that. He said it's the best thing he's found, so I appreciate that. But it got me to watch the Greger video about it, and in there, Greger talks about how Not to Diet, his follow-up to How Not to Die, he's got these 4 rules of sleep conditioning and then 4 rules of sleep hygiene. And it's just kind of interesting to me because I've had these years of sleep issue. It's been a problem. And by the way, Greger gets into a bunch of stats that are really not good. They're very scary. They kind of equate not sleeping well to smoking as far as impact on your health, which is not a good thing. But I kind of have ignored the sleep conditioning thing for the most part. I mean, I knew that when you wake up in the night, you're not supposed to lay in your bed for an hour not sleeping. They say if you get to 20 minutes, you're just supposed to get up out of bed because you start to train yourself not to do it or not to sleep. And then more recently, I've heard this idea of that when you don't sleep well, you actually shouldn't let yourself sleep in late to compensate. Which, given the nature of our work, no office to go into, I can manage to sleep pretty late if I need to. And so I think that sort of has made the problem worse rather than forcing you to then be really tired. Yeah. So anyway, Greger's got these 4 rules of sleep conditioning. Number 1, go to bed only when you're sleepy, which is news to me, total news. And that's what I'm kind of excited about as potentially a big fix here. Only use the bed for sleep and sex. We all know that one. If you can't fall asleep within 15 minutes or 20 minutes, get up, leave the bedroom. Don't go back until you're sleepy again. So more on the same theme of don't get into the bed or stay in the bed if you're not sleepy. And then finally get up at the same time every morning. So no matter how little sleep you had. So this is, it's funny. I've done all the sleep hygiene. I bought all the stuff and everything, but the sleep conditioning I've kind of ignored. So I feel hopeful here that maybe there's something else to explore.
I like it. Are you still sleeping in your cocoon?
Still in the cocoon. I'm experimenting a little bit with if I start not in the cocoon and then switch into the cocoon once I wake up, maybe that change would be exactly what I need. I don't really know, but still got the cocoon, and I'm still confident that it's helpful.
I was thinking about it this week, Matt, about your sleep problems.
Okay, good. I'm doing something right then.
Because you had been sleeping really well with the cocoon, and I believe that was when your father was here, and you said you were still drinking a little bit of alcohol, and then your dad left,
right?
And you quit drinking alcohol, and that's when you quit sleeping well. So I was wondering, because this was happening to me. It was a Friday night, maybe. I hadn't had anything to drink, and I was just having a lot of trouble getting tired. I was laying in bed just kind of wrestling around. I was like, man, maybe I should have had a drink tonight. Maybe it's the opposite of what all the science says.
Maybe my view on that is that the drink makes me at least artificially tired when I'm probably not really tired. So skipping it will prevent the later wake up if I actually don't go to bed till later. So who knows really now? The link between the drinking and the sleep to me is not totally clear in my own experience. Except I know that if I have 3 drinks or more, it completely ruins the sleep. But the typical 1 to 2. I'm not sure yet to be discovered what that link is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So before the toys started taking over, what's that? Isn't there some movie about a toy doll that just came to the theaters this weekend?
A new toy.
It's like a creepy little Chucky thing, but it's a girl. I don't know her name. I'm sure someone in the audience is watching the same. I think it's on Peacock, is where I keep seeing the ads when I watch these Office replays. So someone will be able to pull that for us. But anyway, So what you dealt with the toys? There was a pile of toys, and it was animating in your office.
Yeah,
or was your daughter coming in?
We moved a bunch of toys out of our kids' rooms this weekend, and they're temporarily stacked up in my office, and they all came tumbling down right, of course, 2 minutes after we go live. So that's what that was about. And then they landed on top of each other, and it was triggering some of the sounds to to keep going off. Jody Shark
Megan, by the way, is the name of the toy movie.
All right, but we have 2 winners here, and I want to just call out that this was totally random, not handpicked. They just happen to be 2 of our big super fans here, which I think is wonderful that our super fans have won, but this was not rigged. It really was random.
It was not rigged, and I can explain why I think it happened this way. But go ahead, announce the results, please, Doug.
All right, Mr. Jeffrey was number 1.
Our number 1 most mentioned name of anyone on the show. As we were doing this, I was thinking, please don't be Mr. Jeffrey. Please don't be Mr. Jeffrey. Just because it's going to look like we rigged it. Sure enough, good karma. That's
sure enough, it was Mr. Jeffrey. And then our second winner is Helen DeGenero,
who you may remember sends us free non-alcoholic beer all the time. So, worst possible outcome for not looking like this was rigged. But we used random.org to pull the numbers. We counted up the comments, and we accounted for the extra shares. Helen's winning entry came from her share. So that's one thing. People who are really into the show shared it, and it wasn't that many, maybe 5 people shared. So that happened there. So that's why she won. And the other one, there's probably, 25 people who I would say regularly, always, or not always, but very often here. Those people, of course, followed the instructions and liked and commented or whatever they were supposed to do. So that's half the entry. So not surprising that that the ones who are bigger fans of the show won.
That's right. That's right. But it definitely looks a little funny. But we will be reaching out to you, Mr. Jeffrey and Helen, in our private DMs and to send you a bag. And
we'll send you the next beer order too, Helen. We'll send you what we want next for the free beer when we send that.
Exactly. But we're gonna be doing a lot more of these. So keep listening, keep commenting, keep doing all the things, because we're gonna be giving away a lot more stuff.
Yes, we sure are, including some books, we said, and I've got some more book stuff coming up later today. All right, you ready to jump into
the weather report? So this is funny, maybe a little inside. Steven says he was going to give his prize to Jeff if he won, and it actually what happened was when we were counting them up, Steven was one of the winners. He was disqualified because he's international, and so we went down the next one on the list, and it was Jeff. So you did, Steven, essentially give it.
You really did
give it to Jeff.
Yep, unwittingly, you did. But that's very nice. And yet another big fan of the show who won. It just goes to show you, if you're a big fan of the show, you're likely to win these things. Not because it's rigged, but because you're sharing and participating. So that gets you more entries. All right, ready for the weather report, Doug?
I'm ready.
It's a weekend, so I got a bunch of stuff in here. Number 1, Steven sent me this one, by the way, so credit to Steven. The redesigns to the V label, the world's leading vegetarian and vegan trademark certifying over 50,000 products, have been unveiled. So now that sticker that you see on the foods, or that little logo, that little circle with the V on it, it will now be green for vegetarian items and say vegetarian, and it will stay yellow, as we're used to seeing yellow with the green print, for the vegan items. Research by the Vegan Society in 2020 found that over 95% of vegans actively seek out these verification logos, and this figure rises to 99% when it is food and drink. We've talked about that, no surprise there. All this different controversy about whether we can call these plant meats meat and sausage and steak and all these things. We said those labels They really help cut through some of that confusion that people might potentially have. So very important there. Next up, a recent study published in the JMA Network found that adhering to a Mediterranean diet, something we've talked about a lot in this New Year's, as it won the US News Best Diets of 2023 award, adhering during early pregnancy may reduce the risk of several adverse pregnancy outcomes. Particularly true in people aged 35 and older, when I believe those adverse outcomes tend to be higher risks. And of course, there is the fish factor. Fish is a part of the Mediterranean diet. So, it seems like the experts aren't sure whether or not they should recommend this diet yet based on this, given that fish and mercury and these things can pass to the fetus. And that's kind of a no-no for pregnant women. So we will keep track of that and see if there's any more info. Dr. Prager's, the meat vegan burgers, like the types that I have sworn off, the fake meats that I've sworn off, they have thrown their hat into the movie ring. The AMC theaters, they now are on the menu there. Plant-based grilled chicken sandwich, patty melt, and gourmet tenders are now next to all that non-vegan junk food. You've got some vegan junk food that you can get instead when you go to the movies. Interesting shift for Dr. Prager's. They used to be the healthy burgers, the ones that weren't all that exciting. You could see the vegetable pieces in them. It seems that they are moving more and more into the plant-based junk food market. Can't say I blame them.
Are they, or is it? I don't know. Like, has it changed all that much?
I don't know. But if they're in the movie theaters, I just can't imagine that they're selling those where you can see the carrots and stuff in the patty. I just don't see that being popular among the movie crowd. But I don't know. And gourmet tenders, I don't think they can make a healthy tenders. Maybe you can, but I just don't think it would really be that exciting at the movies. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
And finally, before I get into Amazon really quickly, in a sign that widespread regulatory approval for cultivated meat is imminent, this coming just after Upside Foods became the first cultivated producer to earn USA FDA GRAS, generally recognized as safe status. The U.S. and China met to discuss the next steps in a virtual event organized by the Ag Food Future Center of Excellence and the Agriculture Food Partnership. So these superpowers, global superpowers, potential, World War III situation, coming together over plant-based well, we can call it plant-based, coming together over cultivated meat. So I like to think that this show is doing something for global relations.
You think that they have that there are people within the White House who are watching a show every day to
I think the White House is always watching everything all the time. but definitely watching the show. Just like Veg News has some plants in this audience, I know. I think the White House is no different. Finally, I wanted to hit the Amazon charts, but I appear to be unprepared to do that.
Oh boy.
The Amazon vegan cooking, I wanted to get to the top 5 books. In fact, I didn't actually know them off the top of my head. So I may not need the list, but Plant U, number 1, Carly Bodrug. She's been doing a lot of good stuff, including a live with Barnes & Noble I saw last week. So good for Carly. Blue Zone's American Kitchen, which happens to be in my American Kitchen, and I got a nice recipe from the Super G-Mart from it yesterday. That's number 2. Tabitha Brown, often talked about recently on this show, her Cooking from the Spirit, number 3. The Korean Vegan Cookbook by Joanne Lee Molinaro, we've mentioned that a few times, is number 4. And number 5, friend of the show, Fiber Fueled Cookbook from Will B. And then there's a bunch more. But the reason I'm mentioning Amazon, well, I've wanted to do that, but the reason I had an extra motivation today is that the No Meat Athlete Cookbook, beginning today, it's not this instant when I look on Amazon, but the ebook version of it, the Kindle version, currently ranked 63 on that same Amazon cooking chart, which doesn't sound great, but remember, it came out 6 years ago. So not bad. But that will be priced at $3.99 for I think the whole week. But it's not yet. I'll let you know tomorrow when it actually is officially updated on the site. But if you're looking to grab one of those, you can do it. Or maybe you can win one if we offer that up in the giveaway.
All right. I got a quick poll for our listeners here. Okay. Who buys cookbooks on Kindle? Do you do that? And if so, I want you to raise your hand.
My answer, Doug, when I do, believe it or not, it sounds like another fishy plant line. I do it when they're on sale. When you can get really good deals on cookbooks and things that I probably wouldn't have bought otherwise. But if I can get it for $1.99 or $2.99, maybe even $3.99, that's when I will grab a Kindle cookbook. But otherwise, no. I'm with you. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of weird. But this is a good opportunity to get the No Meat Athlete cookbook for that cheap price. So
exactly. All right, good. So that's the weather report. Still fooling around with that segment.
I like this weather report. I think it's good. I think it's a good addition.
I do too. We need a new reader for it. The problem is, I don't think a lot of readers are going to have a reader we might bring on is going to have the context that I have, because a lot of these things I know we've talked about in different things here and there, so it's easy to spice it up a little bit. I feel like someone who comes on just unless they've been a fan for a while, they're not going to know all the behind the scenes. But maybe the right person will come along and just really want an unpaid job and just get in touch, and then we'll have it.
Yeah. All the people clamoring after unpaid jobs right now.
All right. So getting into the content, not too much, that's going to take us too long today. But I do like these topics. Again, good for this January time, because I don't want to forget that it's January, and I was feeling really good and excited about resolutions and things. And I haven't stopped my stuff. I haven't eaten vegan meat yet. I keep doing my my everyday activity. But I don't know. I feel like some of that New Year's energy is worn off. So this is an interesting bit about New Year's. A new study finds that 1 in 2 Americans would choose more energy over more sex or sleep. And that is 56% of women, 46% of men said exactly that. More importantly for this show, though, improved nutrition is America's top resolution. 62% want to eat less sugar, 49% want to eat more protein, and 46% want to consume fewer calories. And finally, prioritizing cardio and strength training. That's 38% and 32% as their top 2 fitness goals. And then finally, most applicable to this show, 31% wanted to eat more plant-based food. So that's not in one of the headline stats, but that's further down in the article. That's not bad. That's a pretty good thing. You have to wonder whether that means they want to eat more fruits and vegetables, or whether that means they want to buy more Beyond Burgers. We don't know. But,
but people, either way, it's a win. Nobody's saying they want to eat more
organ
liver.
Yeah, right. Totally. So that's a good thing.
I'm not saying nobody, but not 31%.
Less than 31% did that. Yeah, because it's not on the list.
Although 50% want to eat more protein. So my guess is that is probably associated with meat more than anything, right?
Yeah, you have to imagine that.
Or protein powders or something.
Yeah, I really don't know. That's a good question. Obviously, protein doesn't seem to be going away, despite a lot of diets these days that are not protein focused, and it sort of seems like a growing amount of understanding that like protein is sort of negatively associated with longevity, at least at the levels that most people in this country eat it. So I don't know when people talk about more protein. I think they probably are imagining more protein shakes. That would be my guess. When someone New Year's fitness type, thinks I'm going to get healthy this year, I think they imagine themselves with a nice little shaker cup, getting ripped, having their shake at their office or whatever.
Yep.
And I don't. It's certainly not the worst diet choice you can make. But I don't think there's too much good in a protein shake.
62% want to eat less sugar. Have you ever? Neither of us are like big sweet tooth people. Neither of us eat a ton of sweets. I'm a much more of a salty guy, and I think you are too. But have you ever like done a no sugar diet or gone sugar free? Anything like that?
No, the closest I've gotten to that is just fasting in general. And like a juice fast type thing where you don't have fruit juice. So no, definitely not just like a sugar free. You mean like no, not even fruits and things like that?
Well, I guess fruits, maybe whole food sugars, but no added sugar. I don't know. I feel like that was a couple of years ago. Everyone was going no added sugar.
People really were into that, and I think still are. But no, like you said, not a sweets person. So it just has never really been. I don't think I don't have any added sugar. I don't really like it, honestly. Not in a bragging way. I love fruit and things like that, but I just don't. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't think like candy usually tastes very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I get some added sugar in some of the processed foods that I eat, so like that. But
like what? I mean, I don't know if it's in that much stuff that you eat.
I don't know. Is there any added sugar to corn chips? Because that's about 90% of my diet.
No, I don't think so. I think that's just usually corn and oil and salt. Now we talked about the non-alcoholic beers. They have some what you would probably call added sugar.
Yeah.
Since it's malt from barley and that's sugar. Mm-hmm. I mean, small amounts of maple syrup in things, but it's not like you eat a bunch of bars or drinks like that have it.
Right,
I don't know.
Right. Condiments, some like ketchup or salad dressing.
Yeah, sure, it's in that stuff, but negligible amounts, I think.
Yeah.
When you eat such little amount of a condiment.
Right.
All right, so that is that. So good. People still thinking about health and fitness. That is nice to know. Don't want to forget that people do sort of say they care about their health at least around New Year's. So we got that going for us. So further continuing with the kind of, this isn't veganuary content, but it is new vegan content. Veg News has a couple good articles today that I like, and
Mhm.
I don't know, this is vegans new and old. This is useful, interesting content. Tanya Flink, our friend, took seems to be one of the people watching the Plant Based Morning Show, because last week we kind of ripped into one of the articles about veganuary that had some vegan meals ideas at the end, and we said they were like the worst possible choices you could offer a new vegan. They were really complicated recipes and like all these ingredients that are far beyond what you need to do to be vegan. It was like if you were trying to be ultra health food vegan or something, or ultra health food foodie vegan even. So Tanya has published 10 easy meals.
Just keep digging that knife in, man.
I know that's such news. You guys giving people veganuary advice. You got to pick good recipes. So I'm glad that Tanya wrote this one, because it's 10 easy meals for vegan beginners.
And I give this an A. It's almost really close to an A plus, but it's missing one key meal here. But I thought this was a really great list.
Yeah, I do too. It's a very reasonable list, and there are definitely some foods on here that to me are, I guess, staples as far as like, what do you do when you don't have dinner planned?
Right,
like the vegan pizza made on bread, which is a great idea. We do that now and then. So yeah, good job, Tanya. Let's get into a few of these here. Number one, stuffed black beans, sweet potatoes with sour cream and guacamole. By the way, all these are linked on the Veg News website. If you go to vegnews.com, the article's near the top, and you can actually find the recipes for these. So anyway, that's good. Black beans and sweet potatoes are always good together. I'm not a huge sweet potato fan. Again, just a sweet thing. I don't really like even sweet potatoes, but I've had black beans and sweet potatoes, and they are good together. Next, root vegetable bowls.
Do you ever do baked potatoes, either sweet or non-sweet?
I not really. Erin like kind of goes through Chef AJ phases when she does, and I'm happy to eat that, and it can make a good dinner.
Yeah, it can make it. I never think to do it, or I hardly ever think to do it. But every time we do it, I'm always like, man, this was good. If you load it up with all the good stuff.
It's good and simple, because you literally can bake a potato. You can even microwave a potato, and then you can dump beans and salsa and whatever else, and lime juice. I forget what else Erin has put on those things, but
but super satisfying.
Yeah, you put the same stuff you would put over rice or over pasta, and just you have a potato instead, and it's probably better for you as a result. All right, number two, root vegetable bowls with peanut sauce, and Tanya does mention grains, greens, and beans, not with any No Meat Athlete credit given or anything like that, but she does mention the idea, and you can turn humble grains, greens, and beans into $15 Buddha bowl by adding a quick homemade sauce. She also doesn't link to Doug's famous sauce system post on No Meat Athlete.
I know, which has a peanut sauce that we still make today pretty regularly.
Are you accusing here, Doug, of theft?
No, not at all. No, I'm just saying she missed an opportunity to link out to one of my go-to sauces. That's all.
Yeah. What a missed opportunity it is to not link out to our site. Okay, number three, two-step vegan chickpea tuna salad sandwiches. I've never made chickpea tuna salad. I don't think. Maybe I've had it. I don't know if I've made it, but I like the idea. It sounds very simple. 2 steps. I can get behind that.
It's our go-to boat day, lake day sandwich.
Okay, boat day.
Boat day.
I didn't know you had boat day. That reminds me, boat day. This is tangential, but today, one of the days of the month, or days of the international days, whatever, I was on that list. I couldn't find anything good today except for like clean off your desk day. But then I saw that it is Dave Matthews' birthday, and I thought, I bet Doug was a Dave Matthews super fan in college. I bet he was the guy on campus who everyone thought that's the DMB guy. Am I right or not?
No, I don't think you're right. No. I mean, maybe no, definitely not. I had the like Crash album, but
how about in high school when that was probably more your? No, I mean you would have. Middle school was Dave Matthews.
Middle school was probably
for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so college is a little late.
College was a little late. Yep. No, I was out of my Dave Matthews phase at that point.
Okay.
That's pretty funny though.
All right, number 4, 3-step vegan diner style pancakes. I like that. I mean, we have an everyday pancake thing that the kids have still after all these years from Heather Crosby's book, whose name Yum Universe. She has a really great pancake recipe in there that has like different flours in it that aren't wheat. I think they're gluten free. In fact, they have like almond flour and chickpea flour and something else. But the kids love that. So a good easy pancake go-to is good to have. So I like that choice. Vegan banana oatmeal porridge, sort of like the overnight oats kind of deal, I guess. I'm not really sure, but seems like a perfect choice for a beginning vegan staple recipe. Number 6, probably my favorite, easy vegan French bread pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect in a pinch. Like, this is a practical stuff, right? You can be vegan. You needed some sort of non-dairy cheese. She mentions Miyoko's mozzarella. So, great practical choice. Number 7, easy vegan tofu egg salad. I'm not that interested in egg salad. Wasn't in the real thing and not really interested in making a version of it. But,
Yeah.
Fine. People are. And if you're coming from a non-vegan diet and you're an egg eater, here's a way to make something like it. 8, I love vegan roasted lemony broccoli rigatoni. This is the closest thing on here to my family's typical dinner. It will be, we try to eat pasta not that much, but once, twice a week, we're making a meal like this. Pasta with a vegetable, usually with a bean, and it just looks like a typical thing we would eat.
What kind of sauce is on this?
I'm guessing there's no sauce on there.
Oil?
Typically with those sort of things, it's like a white wine, and of course there's the oil that's used to get it started with onions and garlic, but then you pour in some white wine or something. I don't know if this one has that, but it appears to be no sauce on it when you just look at it.
Yep.
But that's the idea. All right, and then number 9, vegan copycat Panera broccoli cheddar soup. Interesting choice. I don't know. I used to like broccoli cheddar soups when I ate cheese.
Yeah,
but haven't had a vegan one ever.
We've made something similar to this. Never the picture here has it inside of a sourdough loaf bowl. Never done that at home, but it actually sounds pretty good. But yeah, this sounds nice.
Yeah, I would never use our sourdoughs like that. That's just a huge waste of a really good sourdough loaf to put soup into it. But
you could pull all the innards out and use that for something else.
Yeah, you could. It's just the sourdough is a beautiful thing. There's usually a nice design on it. And you scoop it all out and put soup in it. I don't know. And finally, number 10, healthy sushi rolls with ginger tamari sauce. This one may be jumping the shark a bit here. But I guess if you want to do something fun, you can roll some sushi at home. I would just go get the sushi at a place. You can almost every sushi place you go to has a vegan list. It doesn't call it that, but it's vegetable. So I don't know. I'm just never done the made at home sushi.
I haven't either, but we've been talking about it for a long time because my kids love it, and so we should maybe follow this recipe because that looks delicious.
All right.
But Matt, there's a glaring she got a 97, but not a full 100 for this list for the glaring omission.
What's that?
Which was the burrito or the taco or any sort of nacho the opportunities are endless. The options are endless here. And they were all missing from this list. So
yeah, you're right. As much as I don't really eat those things very much, we do have tacos every now and then. It certainly to me belongs on a simple recipe list because there's very little cooking to do. You make the rice, you heat up the beans, and then you just mix things together on the plate, on the burrito. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a missed opportunity.
It is. But no, this would be a great place for a new vegan to turn to find some good inspiration.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next one, we got a shout out here.
Okay.
A plant-based space says 53 is 53 this year completed, 100 yoga sculpt classes accomplished today, and I signed up for a half marathon. Thanks to No Meat Athlete, you and Rich Roll have supported my vegan athlete journey from day one 5 years ago.
Very nice.
Super awesome.
And that's Plant-Based Space is the one who likes your hair, Doug. I don't think she said anything today about my hair, which some might argue is the reason I did it, was see if I could one up Doug in the hair department.
You could get a hair shout out.
But I got a shout out, by the way.
That's awesome. That is really,
I have a shout out
really
from someone
great.
who's not here. I think she listens to the podcast. Lindsay, she sent me a picture of her finishing the Disney half marathon this past weekend. And she said the NMA training guide served us well. We actually answered her question, Doug, like a month ago or so. She asked about nutrition, pre-race nutrition for a really early race. When at Disney, because of the traffic stuff, you need to get in the car at like 3 a.m. to get to the start line by 5 or something. Anyway, she finished. She wore a Buzz Lightyear costume. Actually, nice. Yeah, but not like a crazy. I mean, it just looks like a normal running outfit. It just is like decorated. It's like looks like a Buzz Lightyear costume, but it's not like a big goofy thing. Oh, she's here. There she is. Morgan LS4. Way to go, Morgan.
Congratulations.
Thank you for letting us know.
Congratulations to both of you.
Yes. All right. Good. Oh, and our friend Danny just finished a Goofy challenge. Steven says as well. I believe Goofy is the half and the full back-to-back days.
I think it's more than that. I think it may be like a 5K, 10K, half.
Oh, you think it's
full.
all of it? Maybe it is.
I think so.
Maybe Steven can enlighten us. Or Danny, if she would ever come to this show, how come she doesn't ever come to this?
Yeah, I know, right?
She's supposedly our friend.
Supposedly.
I don't know. All right. Let's move on here, Doug. Get this one done quickly, and then we will sign off for the day. This is another Veg News useful article. So good job, Veg News, with the beginner content. The Essential Vegan Guide to Pantry Staples. This one's by someone named Aruka Sanchir, who I haven't heard of before. Maybe just missed her stuff, or maybe she's new. I also noticed that there was a Juliana Hever article on Veg News, and I haven't seen her associated with them before, but maybe she's part of the team now. All right, so this article is just about staples. It's a great thing, if you're in it even for the month, having a pantry or fridge full of stuff that you can kind of fall back on in those moments when you need to throw together a simple meal like we just talked about. It's important to have that stuff. So they start with baking needs. I don't really care that much about baking. I guess some people do, and it just doesn't seem like to me an essential part of a diet, because it's just like this whole extra thing that you do for like indulgence. But I guess some people really do depend on those foods for breakfast, especially.
If you want to make those pancakes that are in the other list,
right.
or
then you would need
muffins,
some of this stuff
like that.
Yep. So let's see: baking powder, baking soda, bananas for banana bread, cocoa powder, dairy-free chocolate chips, egg replacer, and she mentions a few options: apple cider vinegar, Bob's Red Mill brand, flax seeds, chia seeds, etc. I usually just use flax seeds, but I have used the egg replacer. Flour, maple syrup, salt, sugar, vanilla extract. So that's baking. Anything to add there, Doug? I know you like the Just Egg brand. Is Just Egg
I mean, I wouldn't bake with Just Egg.
No,
you may be able to do that, but I mean, it's really for scrambling or something.
Right. Okay. That's your good stuff. Okay. And then bread, she says, obviously you got to have some bread. She recommends Dave's Killer Bread. By the way, I kind of appreciate this. And they make the distinction, like, she's recommending food for a healthy diet, right? Assuming you're adopting this diet for the month or whatever, usually it's partly for health, not entirely just like I want to be an ethical vegan. So like an ethical vegan, you can get probably Wonder Bread or some other just, 98-cent bag of bread. Just make sure it's vegan. I assume that stuff is. But she recommends Dave's Killer Bread, which will probably cost you 6 times as much. But I do think it's much more of a wholesome food. So she's recommending, healthy food here, which is probably a good thing. So canned goods. She says beans or refried beans, obviously great choice. No need to make them on your own unless you want to. Coconut milk, tomato paste, diced tomatoes, tomato sauce. Again, you can make some of those on your own, but no reason if you can get them in cans, or at least have the convenience on hand. And then vegetables such as corn, olives, pickles, and pickled jalapenos. We don't tend to do canned vegetables almost ever, though. That's sort of like something I did as a kid, but not really anymore.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Our canned vegetable, we do sometimes, every once in a while. This is a treat in our house, but canned fruit like peaches or something, or pineapple, something like that.
Heavy syrup, fruit cocktail.
Yeah, it's probably in heavy syrup. I'm sure.
Added sugar. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. But
as a treat, it's okay.
For a little dessert, a little fruit dessert.
Yeah, we do use canned olives because my daughter likes olives.
Oh yeah, olives.
A lot of things. Yeah, and in fairness, she doesn't really recommend like getting canned asparagus or peas. It's just like it's pickles, pickled jalapeno. It's like these little condiment kind of things, except for corn. By the way, quickly, Run Sarah Run, great name by the way. She says my mom used Just Egg for some vegan Christmas cookies this year, and it turned out great. So there you go. I'm not surprised it turned out great, but that's also like what's a good analogy here, Doug? Using Bordeaux when your recipe calls for red wine, you don't need to use the fanciest best stuff. You can just get the cheap stuff. So Doug would never be caught putting Just Egg in a muffin, I don't think, or a cookie.
No, definitely not.
But it does work. Sounds like. All right, next up, Doug, you're gonna love this one. Chips. It's a whole category unto itself. Chips as a pantry staple. The versatile snack staple can be used with hummus, queso, salsas, guacamole. Doug, have you ever heard of any of these dips? Queso,
Have
salsa,
I heard about them? Have I had them before noon today? You bet.
Nice. All right. Yeah, and that's it. She doesn't recommend types of chips. She just says have chips on hand because you never know when she doesn't say this, but I'm
Well,
inferring.
she has a simple corn tortilla chip works with most condiments.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
She does say that.
a woman after my own heart, right there.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, I think this is good for someone who's new. If you were doing if Joel Furman wrote this article, he would say get some carrot sticks or some celery sticks or some cucumber slices. All those are really good in dips, by the way. And it's a really nice way to work those raw vegetables in is to dip them in something like hummus, especially broccoli and hummus. We just do it all the time. So you can get by without the chips on hand to dip in these things. But we are talking perhaps to a new vegan, someone who's here for Veganuary. So why not include something that's little more satisfying than that nice snack that keeps you going.
Yep, absolutely.
Good. All right, you know what chips I've been having recently? Not dip chips, truffle chips. I keep talking about truffles recently.
Truffle chips.
Yeah, I get them at World Market. They have a good selection.
What's the base? Like potato?
Yeah. There's potato chips, but they have truffle oil or truffle flavor or something in them.
Okay.
Which I think may be actually like just a natural flavoring, not actually made from truffles, just like lab created. But they're still good. Not as healthy though. That potato chip is not nearly as good of a choice as corn tortilla chip in a dip, because the dip, you don't only dip potato chips very much unless it's in total junky onion dip or something.
Yeah.
So the corn tortilla chips, at least you can dip them in something good.
That's right.
Healthy, I should say. All right, condiments. She says, follow your heart's veganese is a must. We do use that now and then. For veggie bowls, hot sauce. Try these mouthwatering. Okay, they give some recipes. Speaking of hot sauce, total side note. When I was getting my haircut this weekend, the woman was talking to me about, I guess, different local things in North Carolina that she knew of different towns at different festivals and things. And she said, oh, and did you know that Texas Pete is made in Winston-Salem?
No way.
And I was like, actually, I did know that. And I said, there's a bunch of food lawsuits now. And then I said, did you know that there was this Italian pasta company? And then shortly after that Texas Pete lawsuit happened, there was someone who wanted to sue this company that claimed their pasta was Italian, but it wasn't actually made in Italy. It was made in Iowa or something. And then she went next and said, do you know about the Kraft mac and cheese, how they got sued because their the cooking time said it was... I was like, yep, I did know that. So,
is she a listener of the show?
I started to wonder that. I don't think so, because we never made that connection. And I think if you listen to this, you'd recognize my voice at least, even if you didn't watch it. So she never said anything like that.
Maybe that was her like trying to make hints, like
to see if I
these like the most obscure things that we talk about. Oh man, that's hilarious. That's great.
It was fun. There's a lot of common ground over very, very niche topics that almost no one in the world would know all those things. But...
Oh, that's funny. All right, so what's your hot sauce? What hot sauces do you have in the fridge?
I just bought one yesterday at Super G Mart. I'm gonna keep talking about Super G Mart. The Sriracha brand that with the rooster, I think it's Hoi Fong Foods, maybe is the brand. They make a little container that is just called, I think it's called chili paste. It's chili garlic. It's only chilies and garlic, and it's just so good. I love that stuff on anything. If it's just like regular hot sauce, I'm a big fan of Frank's Red Hot. I think that's a pretty darn good improvement over Tabasco, in my opinion. And pretty basic, I know, but I like that one. What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of boring because I'm the same way. Sriracha and Frank's Red Hot.
Yeah.
We have some other ones from like Trader Joe's and stuff that I hardly ever touch. One of them is good, but it's like, I mean, it's like punch in the face, spicy.
Yeah, that's hard.
That I can get behind that if I'm in the right mood, but for the most part, I just want a little bit of heat onto my burrito or something like that. I
think green hot sauces are really good. When I occasionally get to Chipotle, I'm all about the green Tabasco that they have there.
Okay.
I like green salsa. That's why I'm interested in that green chili that Katie makes, that I'm still waiting for you to post that recipe on the Plant-Based Morning Show Instagram account.
Yep.
Yeah, do that, please.
Okay.
We're all waiting. All right, next, she's got nut nutters here. I think this must mean nut butters. Peanut, almond, cashew, and the list goes on. Yes, good. Nut butters, wonderful treat for a lot of things. I've been known to go grab a spoon and just late night, one big scoop of almond butter on a spoon, just eat it. And it's pretty good. It's kind of like a dessert. And I think sometimes it might be a sleep aid. I don't know. So
yeah, I think you told me about that as a sleep aid one No Meat Athlete Radio episode. We talked about that.
Yeah, I think Tim Ferriss was pushing that for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm an almond butter guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can like spread some almond butter on some apples and have that as a nice snack.
Yeah, healthy snack. Good. Good choice. Okay, and moving quickly here. Nutritional yeast. This is every vegan's thing, right? If you're vegan, you already know this. You already love this. They say people call it nooch, of course. If you're just vegan for the month, do you need nutritional yeast? Not that she's making only for just 1 month vegans, but I don't use vegan or nutritional yeast all that much really. We use it in a cheesy Parmesan thing that we have. It's cashews, nutritional yeast, like about 4 times as much cashews as nutritional yeast. A little bit of salt and garlic powder, blend it up, and it's a nice little sprinkle. Otherwise, I really don't use it almost ever. Just random recipes, but not much. What about you? You put it on popcorn or something like that?
I do put it on popcorn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're not like crazy about nutritional yeast any more than we are any other spice or seasoning.
Right.
Certain recipes call for it. Certainly, certain sauces call for it. And we put it on popcorn. I think popcorn's the only thing we just like sprinkle it on. But we're not one of those families that just dumps it on everything. Some people are, and that's great. But
yeah, it's very healthy. Dr. Greger talks often about it being like a big immunity booster. Of course, it's usually fortified with B12, so you can get B12 from it. Wouldn't be my preferred source, but just because it's random amounts, you don't know how much you're getting and all that. But definitely a healthy food. All right, moving faster here. Oats, we talked about that. Oats are always good. Find a good oat recipe. I don't really like them, but find a breakfast recipe if you're into oats for breakfast. Pasta, she mentions Bonds, though, which I'm into, but I recently swore off because of the price. It's just a little bit too high. Just, kind of squeezed me out of the market a little bit with the $5 per half pound price. Pasta sauce, I like making sauce a lot, but it's always good to remember when you've got a jar in the pantry so that you can get in a pinch, use it, especially combined with that Bonza pasta. You get a good healthy dinner for pretty easy. Prepackaged meals. I mean, I guess if you want that, if you want to have that, then there's no shortage of them now. So that's great. We don't really ever get them. I think there's 4 of us, and I hate spending. I don't know. I hate everybody eating them. It just takes forever to microwave 5 meals or whatever you're going to do. So we just don't do it.
Like 8 minutes a meal or 6 minutes a meal. Like you might as well cook something. And I mean, they are expensive. Every once in a while. I mean, I wouldn't even say we have them consistently in the freezer. We do have, what we do have is the burritos, the Amy's black bean non-dairy burritos.
Yep.
Those are consistently in a freezer. Yeah, because I mean, my kids will just, I mean, they will just go to town on those things, and I guess they're burritos. Maybe that's why I like them. but that's shocking. That's the prepackaged meal that we have on hand.
You just feed your children and family only Mexican food. I just can't believe that. It's just so weird.
And pasta. We eat plenty of Italian food in our family too. But like it started out as kind of a joke where I was playing it up a lot, but I'm realizing that it's not as much of a joke as I thought.
Did you grow up eating that way, or you just?
I don't know. I mean,
because you went and lived there you lived in the South American and Latin American countries for a while.
Yeah, a couple of years.
Maybe that influence.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's healthy food if you do it right, for sure. Mm-hmm. Why are you laughing? I saw Mr. Jeffrey said something about smoked paprika to you.
Yeah. He said, in response to my nutritional yeast comment, he said, this coming from the guy who didn't have smoked paprika for 36 years. So that was
right.
Funny.
It's not a common ingredient in Mexican food, I guess.
No, that's right.
All right. Protein bars. Yep. If you want protein bars, you can get them. I don't use them, but it's fine. I use Protein Plant Bites, so that's kind of like a bar. Compliment product, by the way. Shout out to our presenter / sponsor. Rice. Yep. White or brown rice. I like them both. Get them. She doesn't say this, but get them imported so that they don't have high arsenic levels. That's pretty important when it comes to rice. I also like to cook it using the pasta method, where you use a whole big pot and cook the rice, and then you dump out the water. That way, a lot of the arsenic is pulled into that water. Whereas if you just, let your water evaporate so that your rice is left ready to eat, that arsenic is not going anywhere except for into your rice or staying in your rice. So that's my big concern there. And finally, soup. I mean, we don't really do the packaged soups. I do know you can get those packaged soups like in boxes, the same way you buy veggie broth or in cans. We never really do that, but it seems like a good convenient meal.
I would say that. So going back to the prepackaged meals, that would be our other kind of staple. Like if we really don't have any time, or if we need to feed the kids and not us and something like that, then we'll do soup and some toast or something.
Yeah, I like that choice. I mean, it's very, very convenient to make soup for everyone or heat up soup for everyone, whether it's something you made before in the freezer or whatever. It's always a relief to realize you're just having soup tonight and it's already made. So especially if you're new at the diet, no need to go make it. Just buy the boxes and you got some stuff in the pantry. So that's good. So I like this list. This whole list is to me seems like this woman, Aruka, is a knowledgeable, experienced vegan based on these selections, and I fully endorse almost all these choices.
All right, that's a good stamp of
I know
approval.
every
right
Veg
there.
News article writer is looking for that stamp of approval when they write. All right, Doug. Anything else today? This is probably our longest show ever. Hey, we had our biggest week ever. You said last week in terms of podcast downloads. So thank you to podcast listeners. You can always come here and see my yellow hair if you want on the live, or see Doug's nice hair. He also got a haircut recently. So just join us 11 a.m. Eastern time, and we're just gonna keep cranking them out. Okay, plant-based space. I gotta read this one just because it's 90s, and I love 90s culture references. In my unhealthy life back in the 90s, I fed my kids Hot Pockets for meals, and I just die about that now. I definitely ate a lot of Hot Pockets. Burned myself on a lot of Hot Pockets for sure. The roof of my mouth, those things, molten lava inside if you try to eat those when they're fresh out of the microwave. But yeah, I did all that. I mean, I ate like you. Well, maybe not like you, Doug. I don't know. But I ate just all that stuff as a kid.
Oh yeah, I was the Hot
Huggies,
Pocket
juice, frozen popsicle things in the tubes that you squeeze out, whatever flavor ice. It was just there was no discussion of that stuff not healthy. It was just whether you're not allowed to have it or what, because we only have so much of it.
Right. You know, I think we might have talked about this. I sent you a picture of what was essentially a Hot Pocket with Beyond Meat in it.
Yes, you did.
And
you didn't buy it.
No, I didn't buy it because what am I going to do with those? But but the that it just kind of made me think, like, are Hot Pockets still a thing? Are people still doing that a lot in the same way that we were as kids?
Right. I don't know. There's probably much higher tech, more interesting, more tantalizing food now. But remember when Hot Pockets came out with that little cardboard shield thing that you would put on it, and it
made
like,
it crispier.
Yeah, help with the microwaves and it's great.
Do you remember Bagel Bites? And they came on like one of those a plate that had the same thing.
No, I certainly remember Bagel Bites. I don't remember the plate.
Yeah, you could toaster oven Bagel Bites, or you could put them on what was essentially a plate with that same type of shield thing.
Right. I think we talked about Bagel Bites and pizza rolls, right? Tostino's pizza rolls.
Because I found some vegan ones that I didn't buy. I still regret to this day not buying those pizza rolls. Anyway, let's go out with one final joke about your hair. Steven says that you should run an 8-mile race.
Ah, very good. I like that.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thanks for attending. And we'll be back. We'll keep coming all week and all year and forever. Foreseeable future.
All right.
Take it easy. Bye, everyone.
Bye.